Hi, it's Mitch from Pickdawgz.com. Tuesday, April 18th, 2023, here with today's NRFIs and YRFIs. NRFI stands for no runs in the first inning or under half a run in the first inning. The YRFI, yes runs in the first inning or over half a run in the first inning, depending on what book you're using. Of course, 6 outs are recorded in the first inning. If no runs are scored when 6 outs are recorded, the NRFI is a winner. If a run has been scored and 6 outs are recorded, the YRFI is a winner. It is that simple. It is that fast. And of course, that is what has made it so popular in betting baseball. Of course, Pickdawgz.com, we cover all the games here on YouTube as well as over on our website every single day. And of course, we also have premium picks from the world's best handicappers. But we know buying picks isn't for everyone. A lot of people want to do the research themselves. We get it. And that's why we offer the betting tools at sportschatplace.com and pickdawgz.com. And of course, a lot of people still want to support us. They ask, what's your Cash App or your Venmo or any of these things? We don't really want that. What we prefer is that you sign up for a sportsbook using our codes over at pickdawgz.com. This supports us a bunch, and it is a big benefit for you. Basically, the way that this works is that when you shop lines at sportsbooks, if you don't shop lines and you have a 10-cent line differential in lines, which is really not that difficult to find on a daily basis, no matter how many bets you're betting, you need to win 110 more bets just to break even over the course of the year. So you start 0 and 110 if you're not shopping lines. Personally, I'd way rather shop lines than try and win 110 games in a row just to break even. It's hard enough to make money sports betting. You guys got to put everything in your advantage. The biggest advantage you have over the books is shopping lines. Use our codes over at pickdawgz.com. I've got a link in the description. They have all the bonuses for you, just like that one book that you seem to, hang on to because you feel comfortable there. They all have bonuses. They all have great different bets and different, things that the other books don't have. So they're all vying for your business. Give them a shot. You get that bonus. Helps you, helps us. And shop lines no matter what, the functionality of the actual app is. Don't let that dictate how you do things, man. Take the best lines. Trust me on that one. Everyone that bets for a living shops lines. But anyways, let's look at yesterday's NRFI action. And it was okay, is what it was. And that's what this show basically... I call it what it is. We don't hide from anything here. So, it was okay. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't great. We're still searching for a lot of data, and, we're basically treading water in the meantime, but hopefully we can get on a heater. We had a little heater last week. We'll see if we can get on a little heater again this week. We started off with a win in the Red Sox Angels. We took the YRFI. There was 5 runs in that one. Also, we hit the NRFI in the Rays-Reds game right out of the gate as well. No runs were scored in the first inning. There was a run in the Giants-Marlins. There was no runs in the first inning of that game. The runs didn't come till the second inning. And then this game was rained out between the White Sox and the Phillies. The Blue Jays gave up a boatload of runs in the first inning in Houston. Kevin Gausman got absolutely shellacked in that game. And then in the Rangers versus Royals, another winner with Jacob deGrom and the Rangers. But, of course, deGrom didn't give up a run, but the Royals gave up 3 to the Rangers, and that was another winner at plus money in that game. Then Detroit and Cleveland, that was rained out. Seattle against the Brewers. There was no runs in the first inning in a game where 10 runs were scored total. Then in the Braves versus Padres, there was only 2 runs scored in the entire game, and they were scored in the first inning. And then the Cubs and the A's, there was runs scored in the first inning in that one. Ironically, it was Oakland who only scored 1 run the entire game. The Cubs had 20 hits in that game, but did not score in the first inning. But the A's scored 1 run in the first inning. They actually had the lead. And then the final game of the night, the Mets and the Dodgers. Yes, runs in the first inning. Yes, there was a run in the first inning. So we spread out our winners across the day. There was a good amount of winners and a couple games that didn't go our way. So it wasn't a horrible day. It wasn't like, a pat ourselves on the back great day, but it was a day where you move on. We had some plus money in there as well. So overall, not too bad, but not what we're looking for when it comes to the NRFIs and YRFIs. But let's get to today's action. We've got a full card of games, including some double headers in there. I didn't put in the White Sox Phillies in here because the betting tools were looking at the late game start, and so I just think that maybe it didn't see the earlier game. Well, actually, it was looking at the earlier game, so I just left it out. So you can go to the betting tools and get that one for yourself. As far as the NRFI and YRFI, I had the time off myself. The first game is actually at 4:10 Eastern time. I thought there was a 1 o'clock game like there is in the other one with Detroit and Cleveland. There's not, so we'll have to miss that one for today's show, but you guys can get it. But we have the other one here, and that is Cleveland and Detroit is the first one. It is yes runs in the first inning. Matthew Boyd going here for the Tigers and Hunter Gaddis going for the Guardians. You know, Gaddis has given up runs in bunches, and, you know, we know that. Boyd is pretty good. He's actually really underrated, but, you know, both these teams rained out yesterday, playing a doubleheader today. So expect, at least in game one, these guys are going to be chomping at the bit, taking their cuts. I like this yes runs in the first inning in Detroit and Cleveland. Pick number 2, no runs in the first inning. Tampa Bay against Cincinnati. Nick Lodolo, this guy is a hard thrower, one of the league leaders in strikeouts out of the gate. Meanwhile, on the other side of it, Taj Bradley for the Rays. He wasn't great in his other start. He did get the win, but he allowed 5 hits and 3 runs in that. But he did strike out 8 batters. So we have 2 big strikeout guys going in this Rays-Reds game. I'll take the NRFI when you have guys that can mow down batters, because normally those guys don't get touched up until a little bit later in the game, and Lodolo hasn't really been getting touched up at all. I'll take the NRFI in the Rays-Reds. That sounds good to me. Our next one, no runs in the first inning in the Yankees-Angels game. The NRFI as road dogs against the AL East. Yesterday, there was runs in the first inning in the Angels-Red Sox game, who are in the AL East, but the Angels were big favorites in that game with Shohei Ohtani pitching. But in this one, the NRFI as road dogs against the AL East for the Angels has hit 11 times in a row. No reason not to give it a shot. I tell you, and that's one of those, as Tony Brown always says, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Meanwhile, we go to our next game, Texas Rangers against the Kansas City Royals, one that we cashed on yesterday. Nathan Eovaldi against Brad Keller. Brad Keller has pretty good numbers so far this season, but the Royals at home do not. Eovaldi, we know this guy's a pretty hard thrower, and if you're going to get to him, you're going to get to him early. We saw the runs yesterday early in this one. I think we see the runs again. I'll take the yes runs in the first inning in that Rangers against the Royals. Our next one, we go to Colorado and look at the odds on this thing. This is the biggest odds we've seen on a yes runs first inning all season long. Minus 182 odds. We have Vince Velasquez in this one pitching for the Pirates and Jose Urena for the Rockies. 2 pitchers that give up a lot of home runs and playing in Coors Field. This game has a 12.5 total on it all the way, but the yes runs in the first inning at minus 182. That's what we're going for here, but that's the biggest odds on one of those all season long. So certainly watch your step. The next one, we go to the game between the Padres and the Braves. The Braves getting one back from the Padres. You know, the Braves have only lost 4 games all season long. 3 of those have been to the Padres. Blake Snell on the mound against Spencer Strider. These guys faced off in Atlanta the last time these two teams met. 13 runs hit the board when these guys squared off against each other. So not the pitcher's duel that a lot of people may have expected, but for those of us that play the YRFI like we are doing here, certainly good news. I'll tell you, the batter's confident that they can hit these guys. I'll take the yes runs in the first inning in the Braves-Padres as well. Our next one, we go to Oakland. The Cubs battering the A's yesterday. Like I said, 20 hits. Ken Waldichuk gets the ball here for Oakland and Marcus Stroman on the mound for the Cubs. Stroman is a scrappy type pitcher, and I really don't like to use that term all that much, but he is a scrappy guy because he's not a big pitcher in stature. Most of the pitchers these days, or a lot of them, are like 6'5", like and bigger than NFL quarterback size, and they just throw the ball as hard as they possibly can. But the thing is that Stroman is more of a battler, so he definitely gives up runs. He's not a no-hitter type guy, but he can definitely get hit. He just limits the damage. Meanwhile, on the other side, Waldichuk, the way the Cubs are swinging the bats, man, I don't think it matters who they put out there. We saw the Cubs batter the Dodger pitching staff. I'm sure they're not going to have a problem with the A's. We're getting plus money on the YRFI today in Oakland. We will take it. Our next pick, we go to Seattle, where the Mariners are taking on the Brewers. Logan Gilbert, I thought this was going to be the guy who was going to be the problem for the Mariners this year, but he's actually been a big part of the solution up against Colin Rea, who's not getting a lot of credit here, and neither are the Brewers, who are 11-5 on the season, including beating the Mariners last night. Man, no runs in the first inning for the Mariners, 6 in a row against the National League Central. We'll take a shot that they may go lucky 7 here. We'll take the NRFI. And then our final pick for today's show, Mets and the Dodgers. We saw 1 run in the first inning yesterday. We'll go back to it again. It's Clayton Kershaw. The Mets have been crushing, well, they haven't been crushing any pitching, but they hit about 40 to 50 points higher versus left-handed pitching. Meanwhile, Tyler McGill for the Mets, this guy's always 1 pitch away from the ball, leaving the ballpark. He is about as inconsistent as it gets. I like the chances of a home run in the first inning, let alone a YRFI. I'll take the YRFI in the Dodgers-Mets, and that'll be our final pick of today's show. So let's just recap all the NRFIs and YRFIs for today's show. Of course, if you have picks that you agree with, don't agree with, or other picks at all for NRFIs and YRFIs, by all means, put those in the comments. I'd love to hear them. So let's do it. Or any suggestions for this show. I know someone put out a suggestion yesterday that I say, what's my best NRFI of the day? So during this rundown, I will try and if I see one that I really, really love during this portion of it, I'll say, this is our top play for today. And I think I really liked the YRFI in the Pirates-Colorado game, but not at that price. So to me, when it comes to betting baseball, it's not just winning and losing. The value has to be there as well, and there's no value at minus 182. So let's recap all the NRFIs and YRFIs for today's show. Number 1 was the yes runs first inning in Cleveland, Detroit. I like this one. Not sure if it's my best one. The no runs first inning in the Rays, Reds. This is probably one of the stronger plays of the day right here. Both these teams are swinging the bats, but we've got 2 big strikeout pitchers here. So this one, really one of the stronger ones out there. The Angels against the Yankees. Man, you never know with these guys. You got such slugger lineups. So going the NRFI against a team that can knock the ball out of the park, it's always a little dicey. Texas against Kansas City. Kansas City struggling at home, but Keller is their best option on the mound, and Eovaldi, well, he throws the heat also for Texas. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh, Colorado, we talked about this one, and the YRFI. I like the play. I don't like the price. And then we took the YRFI in the Braves versus Padres game. Not so much sure I love this one. I think both these pitchers learned a lesson last time out when they faced each other. The Cubs and the A's. This one makes a lot of sense. Waldichuk certainly able to get to it. The A's seem to do most of their business early, but the YRFI in this one was the pick. Then there was Seattle against Milwaukee, the NRFI. This is another strong one too. I would say this one or the Rays Reds are my 2 best of pick of the litter, we can call them. The Pickdawgz pick of the litter NRFIs would be those 2. Logan Gilbert and Rea in this one. And then to end the night, yes runs first inning in the Mets Dodgers. Yeah, this is a lukewarm play. I'd say it's a play, but it's not like rush to the window. More like I think the NRFI in that Reds Rays or the Mariners Brewers. But anyways, there's today's NRFIs and YRFIs. I enjoy doing this show with you. This is a new show for us this baseball season. I've been doing it with us since day one, so we'll see how this carries on. We're just waiting on a heater, but, days like yesterday, those are okay, but not what we're 100% looking for. We're going to get there. We know that. We've done this a zillion times, so everyone else just copies what we do, so that's how we know what works and what doesn't work. And, of course, the other guys, they're just guessing. Anyways, man, we're not going to keep anybody guessing. Put those picks in the comments. Appreciate all of you guys that tune in and watch all of our videos every day. Be sure to smash that like button. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so. And of course, support our site by signing up for those sports books. Or if you're looking for premium picks from the world's best handicappers, use that discount code PICK. You'll get 15% off any purchases today. This is Mitch. Have an awesome day. We'll see you tomorrow with the NRFIs and YRFIs.